In 1988, when Iranian regime's supreme leader Ruhollah Khomeini issued a handwritten decree for the massacre of political prisoners, he believed that by physically eliminating the PMOI, he could also destroy their ideals. In response to the executioners who had doubts after receiving his handwritten decree, he wrote, "Anyone who remains loyal to the cause of hypocrisy, PMOI, at any stage should be executed. Destroy the enemies of Islam swiftly. Regarding the handling of the case files, whichever way the verdict can be carried out faster is preferred." With this emphasis, there is no doubt that Khomeini harbored the intention of committing genocide against the PMOI. More than 30,000 political prisoners were executed in the span of a few months. The regime secretly buried the victims in mass graves and did not reveal the burial locations to the grieving families. The goal was to ensure that no trace of the steadfast PMOI members remained. Khomeini's successor, Ali Khamenei, continued this policy towards the PMOI by continuing to deny the 1988 massacre and building roads and buildings on top of the burial locations. But crimes against humanity cannot be hidden. The PMOI launched a justice-seeking movement to reveal the truth about the 1988 massacre and bring its perpetrators to justice. This movement garnered support and attention from renowned jurists and human rights activists across the world. 36 years after the massacre of PMOI and political prisoners in the summer of 1988, these efforts culminated in a new milestone report by UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Iran, Javaid Rehman, on atrocity crimes by the regime. Rehman's report mentions atrocity crimes for the first time and covers the regime's heinous crimes throughout the 1980s. The rapporteur has taken the view that
the atrocity crimes of the crimes against humanity in particular, murder through arbitrary, summary, and extrajudicial executions of thousands of political prisoners, torture, persecution, and enforced disappearances, and other inhumane acts against political prisoner, as well as genocide, took place in the Islamic Republic of Iran between the end of July until end of September 1988. Between June 1981 to March 1982, thousands of dissidents, including hundreds of children, were arbitrarily detained and subjected to systematic patterns of enforced disappearance, torture, and summary, arbitrary and extrajudicial executions on religiously motivated and vaguely defined charges of moharebe, waging war against God, efsade fel arz, spreading corruption on earth, and irtidad, apostasy. Most of the victims were members or sympathizers of PMOI.
Among the executed were hundreds of children, one of whom was Fatemeh Mesbah, a 13-year-old supporter of the PMOI. One of the notable aspects of this report is the examination of Khomeini's criminal fatwa as an undeniable document of genocide. The report states,
"The specific requirements of the Genocide Convention and the challenges related to establishing genocide have already been considered. Khomeini's fatwa, a key document of the 1988 massacre, lays bare the genocidal intent in physically destroying the PMOI, which was treated as a religious group by the perpetrators. The fatwa explicitly characterizes the PMOI's alleged religious transgressions as waging war against God that must be punished by execution."
In his recommendations, the Special Rapporteur calls on all UN member states to use universal jurisdiction to conduct immediate, impartial, complete, and transparent investigations into crimes under international law, and to collect, integrate, and preserve evidence for future criminal prosecution of all perpetrators. Javaid Rehman calls for an end to the impunity of those responsible for savage crimes by establishing an international mechanism to ensure swift, impartial, complete, and transparent criminal investigations into the regime's crimes against humanity, against political dissidents, and the genocide of opponents. The importance of the report is further highlighted by the regime's reaction to it. The so-called Human Rights Secretary of the regime, called the UN Special Rapporteur, a paid mercenary of the PMOI. However, there is no way the regime can erase its crimes and stop the justice-seeking movement of the Iranian resistance, which is gaining momentum with every passing day. The global recognition of the mass killings committed by this regime as atrocity crimes is a qualitative step in the justice-seeking movement of the Iranian people. This movement, directly linked with the movement for regime change, will eventually bring the perpetrators of these crimes and genocides to justice.
Follow the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran on YouTube, Facebook, X, and our website.